Hey everybody, it's Tuesday here in the shop. I'm going to try to record this video and post it a little early because we got the 4th of July holiday coming up and Connie and I are going to try to escape. So I'm going to give you some updates here on Half Baked. I want you to see some of the stuff that you typically don't talk about or think about until you're building the car, and a lot of guys think about this after the fact. So I'm going to share this so you guys have a little food for thought over the holiday season. Here goes. I'm trying to finish up the steering. I've got the column mount done on the bottom, the column mount done on the top. I modified the original piece that bolts in there. I still have that hole to fill in it yet, but because that's where the original clutch rod came through, the way this is set up, it's a little bit higher in the car. I believe I showed that before. These little dealios here, that's a piece of 1¼ 058 tubing with a stainless steel washer welded on the back. I put my push buttons in here for my starter, so when you're out here underneath the hood, you got a push button so you can adjust the valve or service the engine, and you're not actually bumping it and cranking your fingers into anything. You actually have to stick your finger in there and push that button. I've got one on both sides, and then I put one underneath here. There's one right down there for servicing the clutch, and or if I put an automatic in it, I can get to the torque converter bolts and I can crank it over and get them bolts in. So that's what I got going on there. Got my tack mount done. That is a piece of heavy wall 3/8 tubing. I used a piece of thin wall 1/2 inch there to get a, or 3/8 to get a 1/4 inch bolt through to get my tack mount where I could see it. You got to have it right in front of you. I think I've talked about that before. Seats are in. I talked about mocking them up, but they're mounted, and I'm going to walk around the other side and show you what I do there next. Let's get that all in. What I did is I used 1/4 inch by 2 inch flat stock, bent it at a 90. I located the holes that were existing in the seats because these came out of my 55 Chevy, and then made these tabs so they come up towards the front edge. They have a nut welded on the back, a 3/8 course thread nut. Okay, located them, bolted them to the seat, got everything mocked up and blocked up where I wanted it, and then I tack welded these in. Then I came up top and made these tabs. These are 1.5 by 1/8 inch. This is about 4.5 inches out, or 4 inches out here. Bent the 90 on it, located where I wanted these on the seat, and then I drilled and bolted these to the seat so that I could set the seat back in on top of these, thread my bolts in. These tabs would touch here, and then I welded these in, and then I come back down here, and then I finish welded these. Then, like in this one here, you can see these are my harness tabs. That one's in a little bit, but it's okay. It's still back at a 45-degree angle from that hole. You can see how I got those mounted over there. That's pretty important. Like I said, it's going to wrap around a little bit, but it's not on any sharp edges, so that will be okay. This side over here, it's just going to get a lap belt for when we're cruising on the highway. This little dealio here, 1/4 inch piece of tubing I bent, that's where my tire gauge goes, okay? Put it like I dropped my tire gauge in there, that way I'm never losing it and it's not rattling around on the floor. Then up in the top, you can see up there, that's my helmet hook. I put that up there so my helmet's got a place to go versus rattling around on the floor sitting in the seat. And then up front here, you can see that hook there, that's from a steering wheel. I think I'll show you that. So when you're on the road, or when you're in the lanes, you can hang your steering wheel up there and it's not flopping around anywhere. And then you can see down there, I got all my pedal stuff done. And that's the important part. That's what I want to talk about right now. Of course, you see that string on that side. That's to locate my door bar, and so I can measure my angles and my lengths and everything. I'll come around here. I want you to see this. Try not to blind you with that other light. Get my big finger out of the way. See what we got going. There we go. You can see this. Pedals. Use the factory pedals. But what I want you to see is up there. Like that rod right there, you can see, I think you can see that good. I used a piece of 3/8 tubing and bent a 90 in it and welded that to my pedal assembly, and then I welded a piece of 1/2 inch thin wall 058 so I could put a piece of threaded rod in it so I can have a pedal stop. See, that goes down and hits that, and that's adjustable so I can move it in and out, because with the race clutch you only want like 70 to 90 thousandths of release on the clutch. You want to check that with a feeler gauge or air gap in the clutch, and you adjust that stop in or out so you got the proper depth. Then this piece here, I put this tab on here for another switch similar to the brake light, and I can use that like when the line lock button's pressed in and the clutch pedal pressed in like this. The two-step will work. That's where I can run a two-step. Some of the classes won't allow, but that allows me to use a two-step. Then when I let off the button on the shifter over there and press the clutch pedal in, that two-step won't work. So that's how I do all that stuff. Then there's an adjustable pedal stop up here for the distance out. I showed you my gas pedal. I made that little dealio there to go underneath the bolt on the floor here, and I used, push this out of the way, I used the stock pedal piece there, but I welded a tow hook on it because I do not like cables. Cables are dangerous because if the throttle sticks open you can't pull it back with your toe. You need a piece like this that you can pull back with your toe to close the throttle. So that's how I do all that. Hopefully some of this stuff helps you guys when you're looking at this. The steering column, this car had a Speedway motor steering column kit in it, but this tube was real short, so I bought a piece of 1 3/4 exhaust tubing to lengthen it out because I like the shaft supported all the way. Then I just made a column drop here that bolted in the stock location. Put the bearings in the end. It's got, of course, quick release hub on it there. You can see all that. Got all that stuff done, and as I showed you before, I welded it in down there. Other than that, that's where we're at with Half Baked. Like I say, working on getting the door bars fit in next. I got like 4 things to do yet to it. Switch panel, some other little odds and ends. I gotta have another drive shaft loop because that one there is a little bit too far away from the U-joint, so I'm going to put an intermediate loop in there that will bolt in and out so it's easier to get the trans in and out. So I think that's what I got left, plus the drive shaft loop. But yeah, a couple hours worth of work and this baby will be ready for tin work. That's where I'm at with Half Baked. Everything out here sort of the same. Like I say, I showed you Friday. I've not done anything out here. Rearranged some stuff and cleaned up a lot so we could have at it today. Okay guys, thanks for watching again. Talk to you soon.